Over Horizon has a bit of a reputation in Japan. It is synonymous with very expensive video games. Now I'm going to assume that's a holdover from the early days of Famicom collecting, because I paid about 14,000 yen for my copy, and that doesn't even put it in the top 10. But it still easily qualifies for the 10,000 yen club. The Famicom games where if you go out and buy a cartridge-only copy, you could easily expect to spend 10,000 yen. Is Over Horizon worth it? No, don't be silly. No game is worth that much money unless you're an idiot like me. But it is a very good shoot-'em-up. I tried to find the plot of the game, but this is a case where I don't have the manual, for obvious reasons. Nobody talking about it online bothers talking about the story, and even my reference books don't have anything. The European NES release could have kept the story the same, but you can never be sure. So we'll just assume that you're a lone space fighter who has to take down a hostile enemy fleet. There are 6 stages of action here. Over Horizon is one of those games where the A button fires forward and the B button fires backward. Also, pressing select changes your speed. There are 4 levels of speed, and I liked it one faster than the default. But none of them feel really too slow or too fast. It's just a matter of picking the one that feels the most responsive to you. And what kind of shoot-'em-up would it be without power-ups? All of the power-ups drop from the same little pod ship that appears from time to time, and it can drop one of 3 things: an option, a weapon, or an extra life. Every time you collect an option, you get a pod hanging out by your ship. You can have a maximum of 2 of these, and if you hold down A and B simultaneously, moving in wide circles above and below your ship, you can use that to move them into better positions. There's only one kind of weapon drop. It just rotates through the 3 possible weapons. If you collect a weapon that you already have, it will level up. At level 1, you fire a small version of it out of your ship. At level 2, the options also fire that. And at level 3, the attack itself is upgraded. The laser's the most straightforward weapon. You're just shooting a beam. It's a good choice for when you don't know what you're dealing with. The homing weapon fires a ball that will naturally track enemies. I actually found this to be my least favorite of the weapons, because it has a tendency to collide with terrain rather than who you want it to hit. If you want to use this one, you do want to get it to level 3 because it will increase the rate of fire a lot. The final weapon is the bomb, and it just explodes when it hits something. It has a slow rate of fire, but it's very useful for dealing with enemies hiding behind terrain. Over Horizon is one of those shoot-'em-ups that has you duck in and out of terrain a lot. And on later levels, it becomes even more challenging as the terrain starts moving. On stage 3, for example, you have to shoot switches to open and shut gates as you fly through them, while stage 4 has tons of these ice blocks that move when they're shot. You'll find that you have to open pathways through them a lot. And this boss even has gates that open and close around it. The bosses are some of the best things in Over Horizon. There's this giant ice cube that you have to chip away at, for example. Or this boss might look like Gradius's big core, but it surrounds you with its laser cannons. Now all of that makes Over Horizon a technically impressive, but fairly straightforward shoot-'em-up. However, there's even more. There's an edit mode where you can mix your weapons together any way that you like, choose where you want your options to be positioned and how they move around your ship, and then try it all out against an endless wave of generic enemies. And if you still didn't have enough ways to play the game, hold down A and B and press reset, and it gives the game a whole new set of sprites. Your ship becomes a samurai, and your options become horses, and everything else is, well, unique. In Japan, Over Horizon is known as one of the great hidden gems of the Famicom, though most players aren't going to shell out the money to buy a copy. If I have one complaint about this game, it's that it's too easy. You're given infinite continues, but even if they were limited, it wouldn't be too much of a barrier. It's pretty easy to recover from a death, which is nice to see, but there really isn't a corresponding spike in difficulty either. There are only a handful of spots that I found to be particularly challenging. Stage 5 is the worst that the game gets. I didn't finish it while I was playing, but I feel like if I had played for another hour I probably could have. Being too easy isn't really a huge negative for Over Horizon though. It's an approachable shoot 'em up. And it is a pretty good one. It gives you all the action you could want, and there's plenty of extra features to extend the game. Over Horizon is pretty good. It's just, not 14,000 yen good.